provided text paints a vivid and alarming picture of the collapse of General Mills, a once iconic American food conglomerate. This narrative begins with an unexpected shortage of General Mills products in grocery stores across the United States, initially dismissed as supply chain issues or temporary disruptions. However, it soon became evident that something far more significant was unfolding behind the scenes. The company's decision to quietly begin shutting down its U.S. operations marked the beginning of a systemic shift in the American food industry. General Mills, known for its deep-rooted presence in American households and its iconic breakfast cereals like Cheerios and Lucky Charms, had become embroiled in a series of internal challenges. Rising production costs, labor shortage, and declining efficiency plagued their domestic operations. Despite public assurances from CEO Jeff Harmon that everything was under control, cracks were forming beneath the surface. Whistleblowers within the company began to raise alarms about spiraling expenses related to fuel, packaging, and late spoiled stock further strained their supply. Sided with a significant. General Mills faced increasing competition from rivals like Kellogg's, to phase out several products, signaling a quiet withdrawal killer production lawsuits, and in a move that would later be seen as a calculated retreat. Top executives at General Mills began unloading significant stockholdings of the crime when General Mills announced shutdown of its U.S. operations through a quiet SEC. Devoid of any formal movement, the decision shockwaves throughout the immediate panic buying and empty shelves in supermarkets nationwide. The repercussions of this closure extended beyond mere product scarcity. Consumer General is a cornerstone of American culture. Family mental player left a void that could not easily be filled, impacting everything from grocery store aisles to school lunch programs and food banks. As General Mills shifted its focus overseas, investing heavily in facilities in countries like Mexico, Vietnam, India, and Brazil, it became clear that the company was not merely adapting to changing market conditions, but actively seeking to distance itself from the complexities and regulatory challenges of the U.S. market. These international investments, coupled with strategic tax evasion tactics and the rebranding of products for foreign markets, highlighted a deliberate effort to erase America from identity. The human cost of this exodus was profound. Lost, affecting communities that had relied on General Mills for generations. Employees were given minimal notice and little support, leaving many to face uncertain futures without severance or job security. Meanwhile, schools and food banks grappled with the loss of critical donations, exacerbating food insecurity among vulnerable populations. Politically, the collapse of General Mills was quickly co-opted into broader cultural debates, with both conservative and the narrative around corporate responsibility, globalization, and economic policy. Yet, beneath these partisan arguments lay a stark reality: the erosion of American manufacturing and the growing power of multinational corporations to dictate terms that often prioritize profit over people. The story of General Mills serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of even the most established companies in the face of shifts and corporate mismanagement. It understands them. As the dust settles on this unprecedented event, the lessons learned will undoubtedly shape discussions around economic policy, corporate ethics, and the future of American manufacturing for years to come. The collapse of General Mills in the United States is more than just a corporate failure. It's a stark reflection of broader economic vulnerabilities and the shifting dynamics of global capitalism. As one of America's most iconic food companies, General Mills was not just a brand, but an integral part of American culture. Its products were staples in households, schools, hospitals, and food banks. The sudden withdrawal of such a major player from the U.S. market has left a void that extends far beyond grocery store shelves. At the heart of this story lies a complex interplay of rising domestic costs, corporate mismanagement, and strategic decisions to shift operations overseas. While external factors like inflation, supply chain disruptions, and labor shortages played a role, internal documents reveal a chillingly calculated plan to phase out U.S. operations over several years. This wasn't a reaction to unforeseen circumstances. It was a premeditated exit strategy designed to minimize liability while maximizing profit abroad. General Mills' decision to move production to countries with lower labor costs, weaker regulations, and favorable tax environments highlights a growing trend among multinational corporations. Countries like Vietnam, Mexico, India, and Brazil have become hubs for manufacturing and distribution, offering cost efficiencies that are hard to ignore. However, these shifts come at a steep price for American workers and communities that relied on these jobs for decades. Beyond employment losses, the ripple effects of General Mills' departure are being felt across critical sectors like education and public health. School districts that once received steady supplies of cereal and snack bars now struggle to provide basic nutrition to students. Food banks, which depended heavily on donations from General Mills, face unprecedented shortages, exacerbating food insecurity among vulnerable populations. These consequences underscore how deeply intertwined corporate behavior is with societal well-being. Politically, the collapse has been co-opted into larger ideological battles. with both sides using the event to critique opposing economic policies. Yet, beneath partisan rhetoric lies a shared concern about the erosion of American manufacturing. And the growing power of corporations to dictate terms without meaningful accountability. The lack of regulatory safeguards to prevent such mass excesses raises serious questions about the future of domestic industries and the responsibilities of global firms toward their home nations. Perhaps most disturbing is the deliberate erasure of General Mills' American names in international markets to launching exclusive subscription services unavailable in the U.S. The company has effectively severed ties with its roots. This transformation reflects a broader trend where legacy brands are repackaged for global consumption, stripped of cultural context and historical significance. As Americans grapple with the fallout, a sense of betrayal looms large. Consumers, who grew up with General Mills products, feel a personal loss, not just of a breakfast staple, but of a symbol of trust and continuity. Employees who dedicated their careers to the company now face uncertain futures, while entire towns built around General Mills facilities confront economic devastation. In the end, the story of General Mills serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of corporate loyalty in an era of globalization. It reveals how easily companies can abandon their origins when faced with financial incentives elsewhere, leaving behind broken communities and disillusioned citizens. The challenge moving forward will be to rethink the balance between global competitiveness and local responsibility to ensure that no corporation can walk away so easily again. The provided text paints a vivid and alarming picture of the collapse of General Mills, a once iconic American food conglomerate. This narrative begins with an unexpected shortage of General Mills products in grocery stores across the United States, initially dismissed as supply chain issues or temporary disruptions. However, it soon became evident that something far more significant was unfolding behind the scenes. The company's decision to quietly begin shutting down its U.S. operations marked the beginning of a systemic shift in the American food industry. General Mills, known for its deep-rooted presence in American households and its iconic breakfast cereals like Cheerios and Lucky Charms, had become embroiled in a series of internal challenges, rising production costs, labor shortages, and decline in efficiency plagued their domestic operations. Despite public assurances from CEO Jeff Harmon that everything was under control, cracks were forming beneath the surface. Whistleblowers within the company began to raise alarms about spiraling expenses related to fuel, grain, packaging, and labor, all while missed deliveries and spoiled stock further strained their supply chain. This turmoil coincided with a significant market challenge. General Mills faced increasing competition from rivals like Kellogg's, losing its long-held edge in cereal sales. Internally, the company made strategic decisions to phase essential cereal products, signaling a quiet withdrawal from key segments of the U.S. market. Compounding these issues, scandal involving the detection of glyphosate, a component of Roundup weed killer, General Mills cereal products. This revelation led to a loss of consumer trust, class action lawsuits, and the termination of contracts with major school districts and hospital systems, in a move that would later be seen as a calculated retreat. Top executives at General Mills began unloading significant portions of their stock holdings, awareness of the impending crisis. When General Mills officially announced the shutdown of its U.S. operations through a quiet SEC filing, devoid of any formal press conference or public statement. This decision sent shockwaves throughout the industry, leading to immediate panic buying in supermarkets nationwide. The repercussions extended beyond mere product scarcity. They struck at the heart of American consumer identity and economic stability. For decades,